Okay, welcome to another tutorial. This is about Makerbot Print. This is bringing in the files and how to use Makerbot Print to get the files ready for the 3D printer. So just to show you really quickly, down here you have the export button, which will be when you're ready, you can export and get the file for the 3D printer. You have the tools over here on the right. There's some print settings. There's position, rotation, and then the size or scale of each of the STLs that you bring in. Over here you've got the project panel. You open that up and we can add models to the workplace. And so this is the printer right now that we have. It's the Replicator 5 5th generation Makerbot Replicator. And so this is showing you what the print bed for the Replicator is. So we're going to go ahead and add models. I've got, let's see, this recessed one. So there's my handle, my lid, and my box. I can bring them all in at the same time, or one at a time, so I can show you. Here it is. And again, for some reason that is beyond me, they are coming in not the correct size. So look at the scale, 10, 7, 15. So we're just going to make this a little bit bigger, and we'll go over how to scale correctly. So when you clicked on one of the pieces, it has a blue frame around it, and you can use the tools to do things to it. So I'm just going to increase the scale by 500%, and it's going to do it across the X, Y, and Z. So if I press enter, you can kind of just see the box just a little bit better. If I click on it, you can tell that it is 75 millimeters tall, 35 along the Y, and then 50 millimeters along the X. Okay. So I'm just going to bring in the rest of the models as well. The lid and the handle. And since they're in and they're already highlighted, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to increase their scale by 500. Wait a minute. Those are not the right. Those are for a different box. So I'm just going to turn those off, turn my box back on, and I'm going to go ahead and add the correct model, oh, here it is, the lid and the handle. And there they are. It doesn't matter they're sitting on each other. We'll fix that in a little bit, but I'm going to make them the same size so I can work with them. Okay, so that's the scale tool. If I click on one, I can see the scale for that exact piece, and that changes, and I can turn that off. I can change these to whatever I want, but I'm going to keep the uniform scaling on because we need to make sure that all three pieces are the correct same size. So for right now, one thing I do right away is I click on Arrange, and I just say Arrange Build Plate. And you can use two fingers pressed to rotate a little bit so you can see they're all now could be printed like that. But this would involve a lot of support material being printed inside so that it can print this top part. So we need to rotate them. So I'm going to do this with each one of them. I'm going to click on the Orient button. It's the little rotation button. And then I'm just going to click until I get it the correct way. This is how we want to print to avoid supports. Same thing here. Let's see. Do I do this? No, that's going that way. So there's a little bit of hit and miss. I mean, because as you rotate around the bed, you're changing where the directions are. Okay, so that's right, but I want to flip this over. So I could do these rotations till I get that, or I can click on the Arrange button. And I can click on Arrange Plate, make them an Arrange Project. Oh, I'm sorry. Place Face on Build Place. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to say that's the bottom, and it just flips it over. So again, play around with this a little bit with your pieces as you bring them in, move them around, flip them over, arrange it so that you can get used to using these tools. Okay, so now I've got this one. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say Orient Face on the build plate. I want this to be the bottom. I think that's right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click escape. So I already got that. I'm just going to grab this, put it over here. And let's just say arrange build plate. It's okay. So I've got my 3 pieces. They are separate, They are, all 3 of them are ready to print. So I could, at this point, just click the export button. And then I would type in my name and what I'm printing. Okay? This is a recessed box with a recessed lid. Okay? Now, that will create what is called a Makerbot file. It takes the STL, it slices it for the 3D printer, and creates a file called a Makerbot file, or Maker Print File. But that file would print all 3 of these on the same printer. So it also gives you how much PLA or filament that you need, and it also tells you how long it's going to take. So this would take about 3 hours to print. So let's say that I do want to print them on 3 different printers because I want the bottom of the box to be one color, the lid to be another color, and the handle to be another color. Okay. Then I can come up here to these check marks and I can turn off, let's say I'm going to turn off the lid. In this case, and then I'm going to turn off the handle. Let's just do that. Let's print the box one color. Then I would export this by itself. Because these are not checked and they're not on the build plate, they won't be included in the file. So let me show you that. McEwen, recess, box, only. I click save, and that should be in my downloads. You wait for it to prep that file. And then I can turn that off and turn, let's say I want the lid and the handle to be the same. So I can export those as McEwen, recessed, box, lid, and handle. I think that's fine. Okay, those are going into downloads. So now that you have those are what need to be put on the USB drive. Let's see, on this USB drive we have some Makerbot. That's the .makerbot is the file that Makerbot Print, the program, creates for the 3D printers. So if you can look up here, you can see there's the STLs I used, or down here. But now I have the box only and the box and lid. So I can put those, just drag them straight to my USB. It makes that sound. I can check that they're on here. There they are right there, .makerbot. I would eject this and take it to the printer and then print using the print functions on the printer. It's pretty much, the next video will be on how to use the printers. Thank you very much.